Today we are going to be ranking all of my races from the past year, like cross country, indoor track, and track races. We're going to start in order, so we're going to go with all the cross country races, and then we're going to go to the indoor track and then the outdoor track races. So our first race was Blacksburg Relays. For middle school, it was just a regular race, so that was a pretty good race for me. I was second by like, I think 8 seconds. Pretty good race overall for me. I'm put that one in A tier because I could have gone first. So, alright, and then the second race was Knights Crossing, which I didn't do the great. I had a good start, but then after like the first mile, I just kind of fell apart. It was 4 kilometers. I had like no peak in that race. It wasn't the greatest race. I'm gonna say like D tier, because it wasn't like the worst race possible, but it certainly was not that good at all. Then we have Allegheny, which this was the first race I ever won. So it wasn't even a bad time either. It was decent, but the course was slightly short. That was S tier for sure. Then we have Eastmont, which first mile we went out in the 5:18. It was a really good first mile, and then I just like fell off. And then towards like the very end, I started cramping like crazy. It was a pretty bad race for me. That's an F tier race for sure. Not even close. Then we have Milestat.com Invitational, which is always a great race, and this year was like even better, great conditions and everything. Milestat, I'm putting that in A tier. I think it was a pretty good race. And then we have Cross Country States, which was like a week later. It's like the first mile, way faster than I should have, and then after that I just kind of fell off. The last like half a mile, there's like a bunch of guys that passed me. So Cross Country States, it wasn't like that bad. I got like 16th place, but I barely missed a medal. Give that a solid like C tier. And then we had Cross Country Districts. This one was like a terrible race. This was like 2 or 3 days after Cross Country States. It's like 3 races in like a week and a half, so my legs are like cooked at this point. And then I let Calvin beat me easily in that tier race. After that, we started our indoor season. So in like December at Roanoke College, this was like my first attempt at like really breaking 5, and this one like wasn't a bad attempt. I was hoping to run like a 4:57 or something like that. I ran a 5:04, so the way I raced it was like the first half I ran 2:32. I even split it, which was like a huge thing for me. So Roanoke College, I put that a solid B tier. As a middle schooler, we didn't like have a ton of indoor races, so we had like a mile time trial in like January, and that was like just terrible. I was just off pace the entire thing, so that's gonna be F tier again. I'm only counting it as a race because we only had 2 other indoor races. Well, I suppose we had 3, but I was sick for one of them, so I only got to run 2. And then we had Adidas Indoor Nationals, which, if you haven't watched that video, that's probably one of my more favorite videos, so go watch that. It's probably on screen right now or something. I don't know. Editor put it up there. So yeah, Adidas Indoor Nationals, there's like a really nice track and everything. Pretty awesome, lots of competition. I was like really hoping to get a sub 5 there, and thankfully I clutched up and I did. I went 4:59.8, and it was like the full miles. I got like 9th, I think, total overall. So Adidas, I'm putting that in S tier because I just raced it pretty well. And then we have Rustburg, which was our rust buster for the outdoor season. My 1600 was pretty bad. 4th lap I had like almost no kick. I ran like a 5:05, which was pretty bad. I won that race. I made it 800 later that day, and then the 4x4 as well. The 800 I was much more proud of. On last like 200 meters, I just like kicked. I lost, sadly. Like for track, I'm just gonna count like the meet in general, not just like the specific race. Rustburg, I'm gonna give that a solid C tier. Moving on to LCA, the first race was a 1600. I raced that pretty well. I ran a 5 flat. I just like took the lead from the gun. And then the 800, I ran a 2:20 again. Not the greatest. I won that one as well, so I won 2 races. And then the 4x4, we like barely lost by like a couple seconds. Our anchor leg got outkicked. So I think LCA is gonna be C tier. I think it's gonna be C tier. Wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst. Next up we had the Christiansburg like Invitational. That one was interesting. We started, it was like a pack of us. No one wanted to take the lead because it was like super windy that day. Everyone was like starting to speed up. And then at 600, I just accidentally kicked the guy's heel in front of me. Sorry, Calvin. And then he went down, and then I just like tripped over top of him. I mean, I could have come back from that, but I had lost like 5 seconds already, and I was also like pretty shooken up. Christiansburg, F tier. I mean, that was the only race I raced that day, but it was just, I could have prevented that pretty easily, so. And then next up we have Pulaski County. I just ran the 800. I was in second up until like 300 to go, 250 to go, and I was like, alright, I'm passing this guy. Thankfully I was able to hold him off the entire time, so I was able to pull off a win and like 216, which was a PR by like 4 seconds. So I'm gonna give that a solid B tier. Wasn't the fastest race, so that was the only thing I was kind of disappointed about. Next up, we have the Harrisonburg JV meet, which I was pretty pleased with. So the first race, we had the 1600. It did not go very well, and so I ended up running like 4:57. The guy in second just like passed me 400 to go, and I had no kick, anything left. And then the next race we did was an 800 there, which I was actually very happy with this 800. The first lap was kind of slow, but I was just, more focused on like racing. 300 to go comes around and just like flew past everyone, and I ended up winning in a time of 2:15. I'm gonna say that's A tier. It's A tier for sure. I will give it B tier. We'll give it B tier because of the 1600. And then next we have UVA, which I did the 1600 and the 4x4. The 1600, I led from the gun. I was hurting quite a bit coming through 800, as one does in the 1600. Third lap was a 77, and the last lap was like a 71. And then the 4x4, I was the second leg. I was below 62 something, which I was hoping to go like about 60, so I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing ever. My last middle school race ever, I'm gonna give a solid C tier. It's a C tier race. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Thank you guys so much for watching. Up next, we're going to be starting our freshman year of cross country. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Like the video, comment, share, do all the things.